Welcome to Good Vital Mornings. Daily inspiration and that good music. Yes. Good Vital Morning daily inspiration and that good music. I'm your boy, your cousin, your big unk, all that, a bag of chips and a 50-cent juice. I am he, Mr. PL Sweets, here to bring you PL Sweets. Here to bring you that daily inspiration and that good music Monday through Friday. So, if you're here Monday through Friday, make sure you like, subscribe, review. If you're watching, if you're listening, follow it. Just follow it, man. Listen, and this is what I want you to do too. We have over 100 shows of Good Vinyl Morning, which means there's over 100 records that we talked about and over 100 topics that we talked about as well. How about you just go back and listen to them? This is a couple of old things. And because we record this straight down, there's no edits, there's no mixing, none of that happens. It's kind of a live recording that I do because the message comes through me to you, and we're here to get you not just to your day, but through your day. That's the goal, to get you not to your day, but through your day. So, what have you got to lose? And if you love someone and you want to keep them inspired, or get them on your same wave, so you guys can be on the same wavelength, copy the link, whether you're watching, listening, whatever platform you're on. Open up your message right now and share it. That's it. Be a blessing to someone so someone can be a blessing to you. And then tell them to share it too. You know, let's chain link this thing. Tell someone else to share it, and you tell that somebody else to share it. You tell somebody else to share it. You tell that somebody else to share it. And that's how we do it, right? And also, let me just put you up on game. If you love podcasts and you like podcasts that are positive, no crazy language, that speaks positivity, that speaks faith in all areas and all walks of life, go to repurposenetwork.com, and there are a plethora of podcasts there that you can glean from. So make sure that you do that, and so we can keep this ball rolling. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you did self-inventory? You know, I worked at a retail store, and I remember I worked at Sam Ash when it was on 48th Street, and right now it is in the midst of closing, which is crazy. And I worked in Sam Ash for about a year and a half, and then after that, I've always been associated with it because then I started working in the musical instrument industry, which I still am. And this is part of this podcast too as well, right? So think about this. This chain is closing. And I remember my first time doing inventory at Sam Ash. And I remember we had to label everything from the basement to the smallest cable, to the smallest plug. Everything had to be allowed for the counters to come in and count everything. And this is how they can determine shrinkage, or shrinkage meaning what was stolen and what was sold. Because you have inventory what's coming in, inventory what's going out, inventory what's missing. And this way you can have then the value of your inventory, right? So when you do this to yourself, this is what you're doing. When you ask yourself, when conducting self-inventory, you have to ask yourself these questions. What are your strengths and your weaknesses? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? What values are most important to you? What kinds of things do you enjoy doing? think about that. Like, what kinds of things do you really enjoy doing? When have you felt most successful? What did you enjoy? Like, I think back to, I asked myself, who was my favorite teacher? I had two favorite teachers. I can remember them vividly. My fifth grade teacher was a guy by the name of Mr. Silverman. Mr. Silverman introduced me to photography. I was interested in photography because I wanted to go to the darkroom, and that's where you developed your film. I was curious about it. He introduced me to photography. My second grade teacher was a woman by the name of Miss Nicholas. Yes, I have a little midget here today, so you hear in the background if you can hear her. So these two people marked my life. There was another older man when I was in the cadet corps. His name was Mr. Levi. Mr. Levi spoke into my life about the things I could achieve if I put my mind to it. You know what I mean? That's self-inventory, like your markers. Yeah, have you asked yourself this question? What has been your best learning experience? Do you work best along with others or alone? Do you acknowledge your past? Do you take responsibility for your actions? Do you identify changes that you need to make? Self-inventory, counting the cost. Self-inventory allows you to understand how you tick. Self-inventory. So I want to encourage you today just to really think about what I'm talking about today by taking self-inventory. Because you may be going to a job that you hate, but you're only going there because you got to. But you hate going there. You know that affects you, right? You know that affects you. I remember feeling that way. Hating to go to a job. I did it for 10 years. Every night I would go to this job. And every night I worked in the midnight shift. And every night I would say, soon you ain't going to have to do this. So soon you're not going to be able to do this. I remember, and that's the truth. You speak things into existence. Let me give you another example. So at the time when I was saying this, I lived on a block in Strivers Row in Harlem. Those of you who Harlemites know what I'm talking about. When I was a kid, my junior high school was on 135th and Lenox. Lenox and St. Nick. IS 135, 132, I forget the school number. IS 136. IS 136. And instead of you taking the bus, because the school was about a half a mile away, I would walk to school. And I would walk down the blocks on Strivers Row. Beautiful brownstones. Beautiful, beautiful brownstones. And I would walk there every day at school, and I would say, one day you're going to live here. You know when it came, the revelation came to me? When I was coming out of my building, heading to work, and I remembered the 11-year-old me walking down this exact block and saying to myself, you're going to live here. And I lived here. And then me saying to think, one day you won't have to do this. And that's true. So take self-inventory. Like, what are you saying to yourself? I'm saying to myself, I want the Repurpose Network to be the most powerful platform in the world. I want to touch many lives. Taking self-inventory, your action should line up. The pluses and the minuses, right? All right, so check this out. I have a classic album. Classic album. All of my music heads, or maybe not. Now, what I found this in a flea market, right? Get the album on the screen. If you are listening, I am showing the album cover to a group called Chicago Transit Authority. This was released in 1969. Chicago Transit Authority. And they had a song on there. And it went like this.
A man came up to me and asked me what the time was that was on my watch. Yeah, I said, does anybody really know what time it is?
Yes.
Does anybody really care? If so, I can't imagine.
So you're probably saying, I heard that song before, but that's not the group. The name of the song is called Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is? Group was called Chicago Transit Authority, but changed their name to Chicago. This was the original album of the first release of Chicago, before known as Chicago Transit Authority. Sleeper hit. Sleeper hit. It had so many hits on this record. And the thing about when I listen to this record, because this is on the second album as well, the Chicago album, this was their first recording. And there's a monologue at the end of the record. Now, when I was playing this record, because I found this record for like $1. I found this record for $1. They did not know what they had. I grabbed it. It was wrapped up. I said, "Oh yeah, we taking this." There is a monologue at the end of the record, and I'm thinking I had something else on in the room, but no, it's the record. I'll tell you something great about this record. It stayed on the charts for 171 weeks. 171 weeks. This is a double album. It was certified double platinum. It won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. And on top of that, it was recorded in 1969. And in 2014, this album was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. I would encourage anybody, if you love great music, this is an amazing record. Amazing record. Chicago Transit Authority, that you would know as Chicago. So, the title says it all for our topic today. Does anybody really know what time it is? Do you know what time it is in your life? Have you taken self-inventory? Hey, I'm going to say it like my good friend Corrado always says, be good to yourself.